Friends, today I shall discuss about the Digital Data Protection Act, and this act has come into effect because of the decision of the Puttu Swami case in 2017, which has held that the privacy is the fundamental right of an individual under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. We share our personal data in different fields for example, in the banks as KYC, and in travel by air, travel by rail, and travel by other means. We give the data, personal data, and only then we can use these things. So there is a great need of it, and that is why the government has committed B.N. Krishna committee in 2018, which has given the broad outlines of this act, and thereafter in 2021 it has also been presented, but in 2023 it has again been presented in the new form, and it has now been passed, and the presidential assent has now been given, and now it has become an act. The four important concepts which we have to design, which we have to describe, that has been defined in the Data Protection Act is, first one is the data principal. Data principal is a person who gives the data to the authorities described in it. The second one is data fiduciary. Data fiduciary is a person who gets the data and keeps the data, and the data processor processes the data. And there is a fourth concept, that is data consent. It is a part of the Data Protection Board, and first of all, the person whose personal information are to be given, he gives his consent. Now we find that 80 crore people are using internet in India, and now the figure is going up to 120 crore. So there is a biggest need of it. Now we shall discuss some examples, some important exemptions which have been given in the Act. The first exemption, which has begun in the Section 7 of the Act, that when some kind of medical emergency or epidemics is spread, then there is no need of consent. And secondly, in the employment cases, when an employee is working under certain employer, an employer needs some kind of information, personal information, he can easily get, and there is no need of consent. So here we find that the government in India is the biggest employer, and so government of India can, and state governments can get information or personal digital information of people, and it is certainly a very risky thing, because most of the people, whether youths who are working in different fields, whether they are girls or males or females, they all will be put to certain kind of risk. And those who are disabled, they share their data through some guardian or relatives, and when guardian or relatives gives the data, he can also make some kind of changes, and if some kind of changes are made, then the persons whose data is being given to the fiduciary will be wrong, and in that case the data principal will be liable. So now we come to the third exemption, and third exemption is that the in the RTI Act we find that there was a section 81J which provides that some kind of data, personal data, cannot be given in the form of information. But this act has given a great blow to the 81J, and now the government can uh, collect the personal data personal in this act, which is uh, uh, almost against the rule of personal liberty. So we see that there are some personal liabilities also imposed on the data principal. The data principal has to give the information, he has to give some kind of uh, consent to the consent manager, and only then the data will be used. Here again, the data principal has to share the data with the data uh, consent manager. Consent manager is a part of the data protection board, and data protection board is established by the government. And here, when some kind of complaint is made about the misuse of the data, to the data board, to the data consent manager, and because he is a part of the government and government has established that board and the members of that board, so there is a possibility that the data will be misused. So we find that after a long exercise, this has been done in conformity with the Justice K. Puttuswamy case, and it lacks many things. We have to see what happens in the period to come when the litigation or complaints are also come. That's all for today. Thank you.